Hello, and we are delighted to have you here for the Edgar Rice Burroughs Centennial event. My name is Kathleen Bonnaud. I am the great-granddaughter of Edgar Rice Burroughs. I am new as a director of the board this year, and I'm really looking forward to the exciting year ahead. Please enjoy the event and have a great time.
I'm John Ralston Burroughs. My grandfather was Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I'm happy you're here, and please enjoy the festivities.
Hi, I'm Jim Sullos, member of the Board of Directors, and I represent the Albert and Marion Burroughs Trust. And Nellie Burroughs was the oldest son of Edgar Rice Burroughs. On behalf of the Trust, I'd like to congratulate the corporation on its centennial year, and also welcome everybody to the April 7 open house. And we're looking forward to getting to meet all of you. Thank you.
In this modest ranch house, off what is now a busy stretch of Ventura Boulevard in Tarzana, California, Edgar Rice Burroughs lived and wrote most of his works. When he died in 1950, he left a collection of some of the most remarkable fiction of all time. Burroughs used science fiction as a means of enabling his heroes to roam to other planets, to remote parts of the Earth, or to past or future times as a background for his adventurous fiction. But it is hard to think of Edgar Rice Burroughs without thinking of the 26 novels he created of Tarzan, the Lord of the Jungle. His other tales contain some of the most imaginative experiences ever conceived, stretching all the way from prehistory to the far distant future. They go from Earth's core to the furthest stars of the universe, to the deepest fathoms of the sea. In Edgar Rice Burroughs' study, his grandson, Danton Burroughs, describes how this all came about.
My grandfather started writing in 1911. He was 35 years old, and his first book that he wrote in 1911 was Under the Moons of Mars, and he sold that to All Story magazine for $400. Edgar Rice Burroughs differed from H.G. Wells or Jules Verne in that his ability to portray the vivid action and to get the reader involved with the hero or the characters. Like, I could relate so much to John Carter. I felt like I was John Carter. Famous sword duels with all these monsters and other things. And I could just relate and get so involved in the character and be so taken away by his storytelling ability. And I was just entranced.
I'm John Ralston Burroughs, grandson of Edgar Rice Burroughs. We are often asked about the origin of his stories. Perhaps there's a clue in the Irwin Borges biography. Allow me to read a section. This is from 1899. I received a heavy blow on the head, which, while it opened my scalp, didn't render me unconscious. But for 6 weeks after, I was the victim of hallucinations, always after I retired at night, when I would see figures standing beside my bed, usually shrouded. I invariably sat up and reached for them, but my hands went through them. I knew this could not be connected in any way with the supernatural, in which I did not believe. But ERB was curious about the supernatural. As I asked my father, and he said that he had communicated with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle about the establishment of an American psychical institution. As a young boy, we would play at his Encino house that was set up like a jungle, and when my grandpa would get tired of us, he would bring out his slot machine and a metal box with nickels in it, suspended by one key on a ball of twine. I asked my dad about this, and he said, "That's the Gordian knot." Let me read to you the establishment of this knot. My grandpa had a habit of carrying his keys, 3 or 4 in number, on a ball of red silk. At night, he would hang his keys up in a hook in the bathroom, But in the morning, when he awoke, he found an occasion to use the keys. I found one of them had been removed from the cord, although the knot was still tied in precisely the same way, with no white portions visible. This key could have only been removed by untying the knot and then retying it precisely as it had been before. Practically impossible for anyone to accomplish. It's my belief that he had an ability that he didn't know existed to unravel plots, twists, and characters. One rainy day, while Grandpa was babysitting, we traced a drop of rain on the window, and he said, "I will never pass this way again." But my grandfather's stories continue to pass our way again. In many ways, with our imagination. Thank you for carrying on his life's legacies and works. Enjoy your tour. Let me leave you with one last piece from his autobiography. If there is a hereafter, I want to travel through space to visit other planets. Thank you.
Hi, today we wanted to share some memories of our experiences at ERB Incorporated because as of March 26, it marked 100 years of Edgar Rice Burroughs, Inc. My name is Llana Jane Burroughs.
My name is Dejah Burroughs. We are the great-granddaughters of Edgar Rice Burroughs. Our father, Danton Burroughs, is the grandson of Ed.
Some of our most fondest memories of our father are at the corporation in Tarzana, California. Our dad worked for his grandfather's corporation as a PR. Whenever we visited our dad at the warehouse, aka his office, he was either talking to a movie director or a Tarzan fan. Whenever we visited the warehouse, there would be tons of art and merchandise in boxes. I always remember Joe Jusko's calendar that our dad had on the door and a huge pterodactyl made of paper mache from the land that time forgot.
Ooh, and I remember visiting Casper Van Dien with all of our friends.
That was pretty awesome. Whenever we would go into the main office, I couldn't help but fall in love with the art done by J. Allen St. John. To me, his art was so impressive. I think that growing up and seeing the great artists that have illustrated their depictions of Tarzan and all of the wonderful characters our great-grandfather has created made me want to pursue an art career.
We are so grateful of the legacy of our family and all of our ERB fans that continue to appreciate all of his life's accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kathleen Bonnaud, and I thank you for being here today. I am honored to stand here today as a descendant of Edgar Rice Burroughs, his daughter, and my grandmother, Joan Burroughs Pierce, and my mother, Joanne Pierce Anselmo, would have been very proud of the lasting legacy of my great-grandfather and his beloved creations, such as Tarzan, John Carter of Mars, and Pellucidar, as well as many others. For over a century, Tarzan has captured the hearts and imaginations of millions around the world. His courage, strength, and resilience continue to inspire us to this day. But Tarzan isn't just a character in a book or a movie. He represents something much more profound. The untamed spirit and humanity, the primal urge to explore, conquer, and thrive in a world full of challenges and uncertainties. So as we dedicate the star on the Walk of the Stars in Palm Springs, let us remember and honor Edgar Rice Burroughs for his contributions to literature, to popular culture, and the enduring legacy of Tarzan, and the enduring spirit of adventure that he embodies. On behalf of the Pierce family, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for being here today and to celebrate my great-grandfather. Your presence and support means the world to me and my family. I hope this ceremony has been as meaningful and inspiring as it has been for us. Thank you so very much for coming.
Hello, I'm Jim Sullos, president of Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated. I want to congratulate the corporation on its 100-year anniversary, but I also want to thank all of our current team members who are working so hard to keep the legacy going. And at the same time, I want to thank all those who came before us, who have been part of the corporate structure and working for all these 100 years to do exactly what we're doing, that is keeping the legacy going. I have been associated with the corporation for over half of its 100-year history. I was the outside accountant for a number of years, from junior accountant to partner in charge. And then I went on the corporate board of directors, and for the last 14 years, I've been president of the corporation. We have been working hard to maintain the legacy and moving it forward into the second 100 years. And we have 2 or 3 significant developments that I just want to briefly tell you about. One is that we have a live action Tarzan option agreement with Columbia Pictures, owned by Sony. And we're looking forward to having a real live action Tarzan film maybe in a few more years. And secondly, something we've been working on for full 10 years, and that is to get a John Carter license. And we now have finally adopted a option agreement with a cable channel for a TV series in animation. But of course, animation today is almost like live action, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how that unfolds. And also we have Carson of Venus. We have never seen a movie of Carson of Venus, and it's a 90-year-old property. And we have an option agreement, which we're working hard to make sure that gets exercised in the next year or two. So we're looking forward to that. And we're not falling behind in terms of technology either. We do now have 2 different contracts for what we call NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So we're active in the blockchain world, and we're looking forward to, we've already had some successful drops, they call it, and we're looking forward to a lot more activity in that area. And lastly, I'll mention the Tarzan stage play. If you recall the Disney animation film of 1999 with 20 songs by Phil Collins, one of which won an Academy Award, You'll Be in My Heart, it went into Broadway. So from 2006 to 2007 it was at Broadway. 2008 it moved to The Hague, and then 2010 it went to Germany. First Hamburg, and then Stuttgart and Oppenhausen. So from 2006 to 2018 we had a very active stage play going on in Germany and in Holland, but it did end after 18, and the good news is that we've been informed very recently that it's going to be resumed. There will hopefully be a Tarzan stage play in Stuttgart by the end of this year. So again, congratulations to 100 years, and thank you all for being part of our open house.
Hello, my name is Cathy Wilbanks, and I'm the VP of Operations here at Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated. I've been working at the corporation now for a long time. Mariotte Burroughs and Danton Burroughs were in charge when I first started. After school every day, I would come to the offices and I would work in the warehouse with Danton. We would organize and inventory the books, comic books, Sunday pages, daily pages, and art from all around the world. It was really interesting. I have to admit, when I first started, I didn't know much about who ERB was or about the legacy. I learned a lot working with Danton, but as a reader, one day I decided I need to figure this all out, so I cracked open a Tarzan book. At that point, I became an instant fan, and I developed a passion for it. ERB wrote for entertainment. He created worlds and characters and took us on fun, amazing adventures. These adventures have translated into movies and all sorts of opportunities that kept the brand alive and growing. Even though he didn't have any formal writing training, he always approached his work with a sense of humor. He wrote with such quality and conviction, and his books are truly special. I think that's one of the reasons why we've been able to achieve such a milestone. It is our hope, as we celebrate 100 years, to continue to honor his legacy and to bring that special magic into everything that we do moving forward. So congratulations to the corporation and especially the family. His influence is still relevant and felt throughout the world even today. I am completely humble and appreciate the fact that I've been able to be involved with such a huge accomplishment, even on such a small level. So I look forward to continuing the adventure as we move into the future.
Hi, I'm Christopher Paul Carey. I'm the Director of Publishing at Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated, and it's an honor to be here working on all the books on the Centennial of the corporation. One of the things I do here is oversee the Edgar Rice Burroughs Universe series, which is a series of novels set in the continuity, faithfully, of Edgar Rice Burroughs' original canon. One thing that's very important to me while working on that series is the idea of tradition. Now, tradition might sound like a stuffy term, but to me, it's really something that's alive. Tradition is really like a tree with many branches growing off of it. And Edgar Rice Burroughs, obviously himself started many traditions. He started the sword and planet genre. He really single-handedly popularized the idea of the jungle pulps. With the Edgar Rice Burroughs Universe series, we're building on what he did and trying to take it to new areas. Now, he did that himself. We tend to look back on ERB with a sense of nostalgia, but you have to think back to the time he was writing this stuff. It was really groundbreaking new stuff. And the idea of like crossing over Tarzan with Pellucidar and all the different innovations he did, and like all the way to the end of his career writing Beyond the Farthest Star about this very strange solar system. He was constantly innovating, constantly creating new characters and new worlds. And that's something that we're doing here. So we're taking the Edgar Rice Burroughs universe, taking the foundation of it and moving it forward, because I'm pretty sure that's what ERB would be doing today. And I just want to take this moment here to thank the corporation, thank the family for everything. It's quite an honor to work here.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Wilbanks, and I'm the operations manager at Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated. And I have worked here for about 3 years, almost 3 years. And I just want to say congratulations to the company and to the family on 100 years. It's an incredible achievement, and I'm just honored to work for such an amazing company with an amazing legacy. And I am the daughter-in-law of Cathy. I am married to her son, Corey Wilbanks.
So I'm Cathy Wilbanks. I am the VP of Operations here at Edgar Rice Burroughs. And one thing about the corporation is that it has always had family focus. It's been my pleasure to be here for, is it over 40 years or 30 years? 30. It's been over 30 years for me, and we're grooming the next generation to be able to move forward for the next 100 years. Congratulations to the corporation and to the family. And I am the daughter of Janet Mann, who is sitting next to me.
Hi, I'm Janet Mann. I've been here since 1976, so you don't have to do the math. That's 47 years of my life. So I thought it might be interesting to tell how it started. I moved to California and I started working at a Manpower temporary agency and went out on various office jobs. Well, I got a call to come 4 days for Edgar Rice Burroughs, and my brother said, "Oh, he's a writer. He wrote Superman." So I thought I was coming in to greet Superman and type all his manuscripts or books. But I found out when I got here that he was no longer, and it's Tarzan. Marion greeted me, and I didn't know who she was, and she made me a cup of coffee, and I found out within an hour that she was the boss. That's how the whole thing started and how my family has become involved.
After 4 days, they kept you?
After 4 days, she gave me the option of staying, and I couldn't refuse. So here we are. Congratulations to the company and the hard work that everybody's done. Much appreciation.
Hello to all the ERBs, all the Edgar Rice Burroughs people, all the Tarzan people, all my family. I'm Casper Van Dien, the 20th Tarzan. One of the greatest thrills of my life was being able to play Tarzan, and hope someday I get to play Old Man Tarzan. That's what would be my ultimate dream, to revisit and come back and play again for you guys. I love Tarzan. I love the books. My father's hero was the literary Tarzan, and then he introduced me to the films. His Tarzan and mine is Johnny Weissmuller, Tarzan #7. But I'm thrilled to be a part of that club and in that family. It is one of the greatest thrills of my life. The first superhero, in my opinion. He was there before Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, so it's not just my opinion. But he's the original, he's the OG. So congratulations. Happy 100th again. I love celebrating the Centennials and all the birthdays of all the Tarzan things, because it's important, and I love being a part of it. I love the Tarzan family. You guys are all family to me, and I really appreciate everybody and all the support you guys have given me over the years. And I love Edgar Rice Burroughs. I loved Danton. I love his daughters and his wife, Linda. I love everybody. I love the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate. You guys have great people. I love Cathy and Jim, everybody. You know, and I loved writing the forwards for the Tarzan films and Tarzan the Invincible. So I'm just a huge Tarzan fan. And happy birthday.
I'm Wolf Larson. I wanted to say congratulations to ERB Inc. on their 100th year anniversary. And I wanted to share my experience. You may or may not know I played Tarzan in the 1990s Tarzan TV series. I remember one specific incident that happened while we were filming our first season, which was in Palenque in Mexico, which is a very remote part of Mexico in the Yucatan Peninsula. And we would shoot in and around Palenque and often go deep into the jungle, which was, for the most part, still unexplored jungle. And this one day we were looking for scouting some locations, and we had a Mexican-American crew with us, and we had some of the crew members were proficient using machetes, so they would cut through the jungle so that we could get from point A to point B and find something interesting as a backdrop for a scene that we were shooting. And I remember this one particular day, and we were trucking through the jungle. I preferred being on the elephant, and I highly recommend that when you're going through the jungle. There's lots of things in the jungle floor that you don't want to be stepping on: snakes and scorpions. So because it was Tarzan, I got to ride on the elephant, and the Mexican crew members would be chopping the jungle in front of us as we could foray into the unknown. And all of a sudden we came upon this tiny little village. And when I say tiny, it couldn't have been more than 25, 30 people that lived there. But what made this village special was that they didn't speak Spanish. They spoke a Mayan language, Mayan dialect. So our Mexican crew members couldn't even communicate with them. And for the most part, these individuals that lived in this tiny little village were cut off from the rest of the world. So we were probably the first people that they'd seen from the outside world. And it sounds crazy in the 1990s that you would run into this, but we did. And I was dressed appropriately in my Tarzan outfit, and I was on the elephant, got down from the elephant, and there were a number of men and women, and then tiny little children. And one of the children, and I remember this like it was yesterday, pointed at me and said, "Tarzan." And I was blown away, because this is not a little child that had been exposed to television. I'm sure they had some books, probably some comics, possibly, but he knew exactly who I was right away. And what does that tell you? Tarzan has got to be one of the most iconic, well-known characters, I would say, in the history of literature. I can't imagine, there's probably a handful that you can name that are on the same level as Tarzan. And I know Tarzan isn't ERB's Inc.'s only character, but that's the one that I'm the most familiar with. So once again, congratulations to ERB Inc. on their 100th anniversary. It can't be too many companies that can say 100 years in business, and I know he was in business even before that, so 100 years is pretty special. Anyway, that's all I got to say.
Hello, my name's Thomas William Yeates, and I am very happy to have been hired to illustrate the adventures of Edgar Rice Burroughs, a fantastic writer who I read at the young age of 11 and was never the same afterwards. I illustrate, had a long career, 45 years, illustrating adventure comics and books. And my favorite jobs were always at the Edgar Rice Burroughs stories. His imagination and world-creating talents were unmatched, and his heroes, although very self-deprecating, were always victorious. And congratulations to Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated.
Hello, we're Bill and Sue Ann Hillman from Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. Congratulations on the 100th anniversary of Edgar Rice Burroughs Inc. We have some wonderful memories of the time we spent in Tarzana with Danton and the whole ERB team.
Well, a few memory highlights that come to mind. In 1971, we spent 2 afternoons exploring the Tarzana offices and the warehouse with Holly and Joanne Burroughs and Jim Pierce. In 2003, the highlight was receiving the Burroughs Bibliophiles Lifetime Achievement Award from Danton Burroughs. Then another highlight was attending the stage musical premieres in Broadway, Holland, and Hamburg for the Tarzan musical. My introduction actually goes back to the late 40s and early 50s when I discovered the Burroughs characters. And actually Edgar Rice Burroughs' own story is so intriguing that I've spent many years documenting the amazing life of the master of fantasy adventure. Following Danton's suggestion, and with the support of Burbank, we've created over 15,000 web pages devoted to the life and works of Edgar Rice Burroughs, as well as a dozen websites, and all of this has taken place since 1996.
Again, congratulations for keeping the dreams and legacy of Edgar Rice Burroughs alive over the last 100 years.
K.O. Burroughs fans, I'm Win Eckert, the author of Tarzan, Battle of Pellucidar, one of the authorized canonical expanded canon books in the Edgar Rice Burroughs Universe series. And I'm here to congratulate Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated for 100 years and going strong. 100 years ago, Edgar Rice Burroughs was the first writer to incorporate himself, and the company is still going strong thanks to the wonderful team in Tarzana, California, who's carrying on those wonderful traditions. And I'm just honored and thrilled to be a part of it. I want to thank the team for allowing me to contribute to the universe and to be a part of the celebration and the goings-on. And please stay tuned and look forward to the next 3 books that I'm writing for Edgar Rice Burroughs: Korak at the Earth's Core, Pellucidar, Land of Awful Shadow, and Tarzan Unleashed. I'm writing the first book right now. I'm having a ball. Again, it's an honor. It's a thrill. Congratulations to the whole team for this magnificent renaissance and resurgence in Burroughs' literary wonder. Here is a small sampling of my collection. I'm sure that it doesn't come anywhere close to many other collectors out there, but I enjoy it. It's mine. I've lived it for years, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Hello, my name is Will Murray. I'm a novelist and popular culture historian and the proud recipient of the Golden Lion Award for my contributions to the furtherance of the works of Edgar Rice Burroughs, one of my favorite authors of all time. I am an author of, to date, 3 Tarzan novels and was happy to have spearheaded the revival of Tarzan in novel form back in 2015. And I have to say, After more than 50 years of reading Edgar Rice Burroughs and enjoying his adventures, I am absolutely beside myself with joy to have brought back not just Tarzan, but John Carter of Mars in novel form. And I would hope that this 100-year anniversary of the founding of Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated would mean just the first century of what will be a long-lived enterprise in which the life and works and creations of the great ERB will continue indefinitely for as long as they publish books and make movies. I think he's going to be with us and his characters are going to be with us. So thank you very much and happy anniversary to everybody at ERB Incorporated. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Henry Franke. I'm the editor of the Burroughs Bibliophiles, the nonprofit literary society devoted to Edgar Rice Burroughs. The Bibliophiles publishes the Burroughs Bulletin, the only fanzine personally approved by Burroughs back in 1947 when founder Vern Carey met with the author. Burroughs also approved a fan organization. Several years later, in 1960, the Bibliophiles was founded. ERB Incorporated has always been supportive of the efforts of the Burroughs Bibliophiles, and today embraces ERB's fans more than ever. I personally discovered Burroughs in the 1960s through the Gold Key Tarzan comic books with Jesse Marsh and Russ Manning artwork, along with their reprinting of the John Carter of Mars miniseries. Next for me were the Whitman children's editions of several Tarzan books. But the most important event for me was receiving a large set of the Valentine books authorized paperbacks in 1969. Now all of Burroughs' imaginary worlds were open to me, and I never looked back. ERB Incorporated continues to ensure that Burroughs' legacy stays alive for new generations. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey J. Mariotte. Edgar Rice Burroughs has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. First, it was Johnny Weissmuller reruns on TV. By the time the Ron Ely Tarzan TV series came along in 1966, which is still the best year in pop culture history, I was a dedicated Tarzan fan, and I bought every toy. Somewhere in there I started reading the books. Not just Tarzan, but the Mars books, the Pellucidar books, and everything else. To be invited to make my own contributions to the worlds that Burroughs created is as great an honor as I can imagine. Some people think being knighted is pretty cool, but I think this is even better.
Hi, my name is Douglas Klauba. I'm a Chicago area-based illustrator, and I've been painting covers and interior illustrations for Edgar Rice Burroughs Universe Series, The Wild Adventures of Edgar Rice Burroughs, as well as paintings for the deluxe editions of A Princess of Mars, Tarzan of the Apes, and John Carter of Mars from ERB Books. Being from Chicago, I've always been aware of areas that are associated with Edgar Rice Burroughs. One of them being Billy Burns' corner of Lake Street and Ashland Avenue as described in The Mucker, as well as the Chicago historic building called Tree Studios, where when I was in art school, or even after I graduated, I had friends that lived in the Tree Studios. And off of the Ontario Street entrance, right to the left was a studio door entrance to that studio. And there was signage there that said, the once studio of illustrator J. Allen St. John, illustrator of Tarzan. So being an Edgar Rice Burroughs fan, as well as an illustrator and a collector of artwork and Edgar Rice Burroughs books, I would walk by and I would either touch the door or touch the doorknob just to get that little connection and with that association of that artist. My favorite hero, aside from growing up reading Tarzan and always knowing about Tarzan through the serials that I would watch, was John Carter of Mars, and that was because of the Marvel introduction of the comic book series that I fell in love with. And then a friend told me, if you love the Marvel version of John Carter of Mars, you should read the novel A Princess of Mars. So that was my first Edgar Rice Burroughs book that I ever read, one that still is very near and dear and close to my heart. And he was right. It was a great book, and I've been a fan ever since.
Hi, I'm Michael Croteau, publisher at Meteor House. We're a small press that mostly focuses on the works of science fiction author Philip Jose Farmer, who was, of course, a huge Edgar Rice Burroughs fan. Now, I've had the pleasure of working with ERB Inc. on several occasions. The first was over a decade ago when Jim Sullos was kind enough to grant permission for Christopher Paul Carey to continue writing in Farmer's ancient Kokarsa series, which of course was based around Burroughs' lost city of Opar, but set 12,000 years in the past when it was a thriving civilization. Chris wrote 3 novellas in that series: Exiles of Ko, Hayden, King of Opar, and Blood of Ancient Opar. The second time was when ERB Inc. agreed to let Meteor House reprint Farmer's authorized novel, Tarzan and the Dark Heart of Time, in its first ever hardcover edition. Oops. And most recently when ERB Inc. granted us permission to use Tarzan and other trademark terms in our nonfiction collection, The Man Who Met Tarzan, by Farmer, of course. They also licensed us this really beautiful artwork by John Soley to use as the cover art. Now, I was out in Tarzana last year for the first open house and book launch party for Victory Harbin Fires of Halos. I wish I could be there again to hang out with Jim, Kathy, Chris, Janet, and of course Jane and Victory. I'm sure you're all going to have a great time celebrating ERB Inc.'s 100th anniversary.
Hello, my name is Jess Terrell, but that is not important. What is important is the worlds, the characters, and the stories devised by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Burroughs comes to us when we need him the most, at any age, sometimes more than once in a lifetime. He comes when we need guidance, when we need comfort, when we need escape. Burroughs' characters and stories teach us lessons of strength, and not just physical strength, but strength of character, strength of values and morals. He teaches the need to do the right thing. He gives us the courage to accept a challenge and to be a leader. Inspired by his words, we can be that one voice in the crowd who says, "What can I do to help?" He teaches the value of a healthy lifestyle. He enables us to escape to other worlds when we seem to be confused or pained by reality. Then refreshed, we return to the challenge. He teaches us to adapt. His heroes provide inspiration and provide a model for us to follow in our daily life. For Burroughs, we learn to be all we can be. We learn to take care of ourselves, take care of those who need help, and take care of the world around us.